the pursuit of happiness.
And welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to catch my drift here at Wham Talk 1600. Glad to have you aboard and glad to be back. So let's take care of a little business. If you have some dentistry work that you need to get done or you're looking for a new dentist, try Sunrise Family Dental. They have offices in South Lyon, Redford, Howell, and Canton. South Lyon office, 248-446-9113. That's my dentist. They do a really great job, and they're very affordable. So check them out, Sunrise Family Dental Care. Check them out. Okay, so we're talking breakfast, Derek? We're talking breakfast, yes. We're talking Brexit, all right? And on the line, we got Mike from Ann Arbor. Mike, I haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm doing fine. First of all, I have to disagree with you on something.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think you want to see every woman in a bikini by the poolside. Okay. I don't think you want to see every woman.
Thank you. All
Please.
Right. You are correct. I stand fully corrected.
Yeah, I hope you have better vision than that, for God's sakes.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to see me with no shirt on or anything either. So there you go. So this for that, or tit for tat, whatever you want to call it. So,
anyways, I wanted to agree with Jimmy a little bit first before I talk about Brexit. I agree with him. You know, you've got 13 million people that voted for Trump. And if the Republican Party is so stupid as to try to push him out of the nomination, they will lose so big, they will never, ever, ever again get leadership either in the Senate or the House, period. And as far as Ryan is concerned, he's a dead dog if he's looking to 2020 or to run as the presidential nominee of the Republican Party. Nobody right now, I don't care. Dog catcher is out of the question as far as I'm concerned for this guy. He has betrayed his supposed conservative beliefs. He's a traitor. As far as I'm concerned, he's nothing more than a Democrat, period.
Yeah, well, I'll agree. I've tried to get Paul Nehlen to call into the show before the primary comes, so maybe we'll get him on, or maybe we won't. I don't know, but we'll give it a shot. I follow him on Twitter, and I suggest to everyone who, if you're a Twitter follower, go support Paul Nehlen to beat Paul Ryan in the primary. So let's primary him out.
There are a lot of people in his district down there in Wisconsin, and I'm originally from Wisconsin. I grew up there, and I know a lot of people in the Janesville, Racine area. And Paul Ryan is not very popular right now. As a matter of fact, the people that I know down who live in his district, I've basically told them, I said, he's been a traitor to us, and they said, hey, we know already. He says, we voted for him several times, not this time, period. But as far as the English leaving the EU, that was fantastic. I'm so happy. I'm not a lover of the English, never have been. But I think this is one of the best things they could have done for freedom around the world, period. And I can tell you right now, there are several other countries that are looking very, very, very closely at doing the same thing. One of them happens to be where I was born, Croatia. They went into the EU with a 60-40 election. Right now, it's 60-40 the other way. They're fed up with all the rules that have been stuffed down their throats. You have right-wing parties, real strong parties now in Austria, in Hungary, in Slovakia, even in little Slovenia, which is a very, very, very peaceful country. They're fed up with it. I know the Greeks are fed up with it. The French are looking at doing a vote right now. And as far as I'm concerned, the EU can go to hell. It can be disbanded, period. Because basically, what they are, they were the money boys. They were the royalty of Europe. They were the highfalutin. They were the Bushes. They were the Rockefellers. They were the royal family of England. And as far as I'm concerned, if they're defeated, that's great for us. And what happened in England, I think, is going to happen here. And those people that think it's going to be a close election, I don't think it will be. I got called the other day by something called Strategic Information Services, and they were polling me. And finally, the final question was, who will you vote for? I said, Hillary Clinton. Oh, really? I said, yes, Hillary Clinton. I wonder how many other people are doing the exact same thing. And that's why you're seeing the poll numbers that you're seeing right now. There are a lot of people that are saying one thing, and they're going to do another thing. And I think the people, when they take a look at their pocketbooks, they take a look at what's happening in cities like Dearborn, in cities like Chicago, in cities like Atlanta, in cities like Dallas now, which is full of Muslims.
Yeah, Hamtramck. Yeah.
Hamtramck. Well, that's a given. When they start seeing this happening in their neighborhoods, they're going to say enough is enough, and that's not anything yet as far as the people coming from Mexico and Central America. Yes. That's another factor. So I think people, like Jimmy said, we're losing our country. Yeah, we are. But whose fault is it? It's our own.
Yeah, because we've allowed this PC nonsense to get so ingrained with us that we're afraid to speak up. And I think you're right. I said that months and months ago that, you know what, I think the polls are wrong because people don't want to be seen as PC. They're embarrassed by it. They're embarrassed to say, I support Donald Trump. I can tell you what, I believe when they're in the sanctity of the voting booth, they're going to pull that lever for Trump, whether they like him or not. You don't have to like the man. You don't have to like that he's rash, rude, brash, and bold. But you know what? He's pulling for the country. He's pulling for our culture, and that's what it comes down to. This is a survival election. This isn't about abortion or anything else or gay rights or anything like that. This is about the very survival of our country, our borders, and our culture. If you don't take care of those things, what do we have left?
Well, what I think scares a lot of people is this. If you're for someone like Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is crude. He's rude. Yes, he is. But you know what? It's about time we had somebody who spoke his mind and said what he meant and was just put it out there, period. I'm sick and tired of the guy going like a wind, how the wind blows this way, that way, this way, that way. I had one guy say anybody that said to me, anybody that votes for Trump is a racist. I said, well, then I guess I must be a racist. And that stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah. Donald Trump is not a racist.
No.
That is just the craziest thing that you can really even imagine.
But I'll tell you one more thing. If you take a look at the response over the last couple of days of the Clinton administration, they're in a panic now.
Yeah.
Because people are seeing now in this country, maybe for the very first time, some people are saying, oh, my God, Trump is right. Hello? If he's only right on one or two things, hey, we got to vote for the guy, period. And anybody that still says, I can't vote for Trump, I can't vote for him, oh, my God, hey, if this country goes down the tubes, you'll be the first one screaming when they grab you.
Yeah. It's exactly right, Mike, because I'm voting on particular issues. I'm not looking across the broad spectrum at things. I'm looking at those survival issues, which is our borders, right? Getting a wall built, stopping immigration. And immigration for me is two tracks. Number one, it's national security and the survival of our culture. And number two, you are keeping our wages down and you're keeping unemployment up because we have too many people looking for that, know?
I'm going to take a look at what's coming under the shores of Italy off the boats the people that are being rescued off some of these rafts. You're getting blacks from Africa with little kids coming in there, women with little kids who have no occupation, they have no talent, they've got little kids, and what's going to happen when they hit Italy and some of these other places? They're going to go on welfare rolls. So the poor Italian or Frenchman or Spaniard who's working or trying to work, if there's a job and support his family, is going to have to pay money to put when these people are on the dole for what?
Yeah.
If the people, I said to somebody, if the people that are so concerned about the poor in Africa and in the Middle East, I'll tell you what, why don't you send your money over there? There's an awful lot of black actors and actresses who are multimillionaires, billionaires. Invest in Africa. Invest in the Middle East. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Leave my country alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a good one.
Great call. Thanks, Mike. Take care. All right, so I want to play, Derek, track one, which is after Trump's speech, the reporters were out trying to nail him down on something. You got that track ready? Let's go with that. This is Donald Trump in Scotland talking about the English or the UK and how they're taking their country back. Let's hear it.
Does this bode well for your campaign, Mr. Trump?
Well, I said this was going to happen, and I think that it's a great thing, and we will see, but I think it's going to be a great thing.
And he was David Cameron right to resign?
Basically, they took back their country. That's a great thing.
Okay, so they took back their country. And that is what we need to do as America, because you know what? The elite that are in the EU and Parliament over there, it's the same as the elites we have here in Washington, D.C. They think they are above the law, they think they are above us, and that they can control us. And it's not just the politicians. These politicians are getting rich because they're in the pocketbooks of all the uber wealthy around the globe. When we talk about globalism versus nationalism, that's what it's about. If you want fair share of your wealth and you need to keep it in the country. This globalist nonsense is allowing these uber rich to move their money in a giant pattern around the world that keeps it from being reinvested here and taking care of people here. H-1B visas coming in. That is part of a global elite class to make themselves. How much money is too much? It's time to end this. We need to have a little nationalism. If we have to pay a little more for things, then so be it. But we should be able to manufacture our own TVs. We should be able to manufacture our own cars and car parts. We need to be able to have heavy manufacturing here in the United States and stop shipping it around the globe to cheaper labor markets. And at the same time, they're bringing in more cheap labor into this country. It's crazy. Let's take a call from Walter in Belleville. Walter, how are you?
All right, man. Hey, man, those two guys before me, boy, I learned from them. And what I like about them, they're straight shooters, man. The guy that just got off from Ann Arbor.
That's Mike.
I love listening to him, man. He could be on the talk show himself, you know.
Yeah, we've had Mike and Ed right down in the studio here with. We're going to have to do that again. They're not always on the same page, but man, I love having the two of them going at each other because it's educational. I love having those guys on. And you know what, Walter, you're included in that group. We have some of the smartest listeners ever listening to the Drift Radio Show, so I'm very happy to have you. What do you got for me?
Well, thank you there. Hey, I'd like to mention, let me throw a suggestion real quick as far as the guy was talking about let live and let live, for us, our attitude and our relationship with the Middle Easterns that's here, the Muslims and whatever. And by the way, I love Mediterranean food, but why don't we just kick all the Middle Easterns out of here? You know, I know somebody gonna shout me down by now, and we just learn the Mediterranean recipe and cook our own Mediterranean food, and you know, we have less danger and everything else.
I know you're not serious because there are good people. We never paint anyone with a broad brush, and I can tell you're just laughing about it. But you know what? There are good folks here, and I've got one Twitter follower, and I follow him. He's a Muslim. He believes in his faith, but he does not put his faith or his Sharia nonsense above the Constitution of the United States. He loves living here. He loves his country. He's a Tea Party guy, and yet he's still, yes, and he's just a great guy. Muhammad for Trump, you'll find him on Twitter. And yes, he's always on there, and he gets grief from people because he gets grief from both sides. There are people who don't believe him, and then there are people who are saying, you know, you're not a real Muslim. It's how he believes and worships his God is his business. It's each and every one of us.
He's a backslid. You ever heard of backsliding Christian?
Yes.
He's a backsliding Muslim.
Sunday morning Catholics,
he's a lukewarm Muslim because if you get a backsliding Christian, they don't totally follow the Bible, or they're not totally against it. You know, they're kind of in between. So he's a backsliding Muslim. He's a heretic compared to the mainstream Islam.
That is right. That is exactly right. Because you know what? The ones that are following Islam to the letter, to the T, is ISIS. These radical Islamist extremists are the ones that are following the letter of the law. If you've read the Quran, they are following it. These so-called moderate Muslims are the heretics. These are the ones that are not following. If they're not telling you and I to submit or pay the jizya, then it's on us. You know what I mean? That's how crazy it is. Know? Yeah,
that's right. I've got a Quran too, and I kind of had a guy thinking I was interested in becoming Muslim, and he bought an ex-coworker. And he bought me a Quran, and only verses on the line was the verses that's against us. You know, I got all the verses, you know, in the chapters. Well, I wouldn't say all of it. The book is so wide. How in the world can you read that whole Quran, man? But it's confusing. But I got enough key verses underlined to put in their faces, let them know that they're lying to their key of teeth when they tell us that they like us and they love us. You know, they were doing the same ones in Dearbornistan. It was doing the Get Down Boogie. Arab disco when we got blowed up 9/11. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And,
I would encourage, Walter. You're right. Pass that if you're not done with it, or tell people read the book, because you know what? Until you've read it, you have no argument. And I say that to people on both sides. If you have not read the Quran from front to back, you have no argument and shouldn't be discussing it, because what's in there is what people like ISIS are doing. That's a fact. You know, and whether the people at the local mosque are not following all that, that's another thing completely. But what is in the Quran is what ISIS is doing.
I like what they did, and they took another bomb and blowing up some people for them to wake up over in France, and they started closing down some of their mosques.
Yeah, and finding weapons inside. Yes.
So and by the way, let's get back to the Middle Easterns coming here and any other culture that don't want to hang out with us Americans and be our friends. As far as I'm concerned, they all can stay out of here, because it means, let's get down to the root of the problem, man. It means a vote for the Democrats. They get on the welfare, like you guys talking about, more food stamps, more of Obama's and the Democrats' agenda. Like I say, the key thing is votes to keep the Democrats in power to